Evans, and this is Make.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Hey, it's Neil again. Now, the older I've got, the more I think that quote resonates. We are all surrounded by a world that it's moving at a million miles an hour. And whether that is like the churn of the 24-hour news cycle, the pressure that everyone seems to be under to turn every hobby or interest into some side hustle, or that never-ending and increasingly furious focus on grind culture, daily grind. Now, that is all pervasive. This idea that you're on the clock 100% of the time, that every second has to be accounted for, that you're always moving steadily and with purpose toward a goal. And to be honest, there's a lot about grind culture I love. I've always enjoyed working with purpose, and I've been lucky enough to have a career that's based around doing something I love. If money disappeared tomorrow, I'd still be picking up my camera, shooting movies, taking photos, creating art, sharing what I've done along the way. But it's fair to say, I think, that grind culture has a darker side. A side where people don't know where to quit. Where people prioritize work over their relationships, over friendships, over their health, both mental and physical. And some proponents of grind culture have been pretty tone deaf, I think. If you surround yourself with people that coach, or, I mean, let's be blunt about it, people that are making money out of pushing grind culture, it's all too easy to fall into a mindset where a day off or a vacation or a quality personal time spent with your family or on a hobby or just in completely unstructured time is seen as some sort of weakness. And that there is where burnout bites. You're up and you're functioning, but you've checked out, you're not engaged, and you're potentially not even interested in what you're doing anymore. And it's a downward spiral. I think it's catastrophic, burnout. It rips away your focus and it leeches all of the fun out of the world. It hurts. Burnout really hurts, and there's no quick fix. Once you're there, it can take weeks, months, sometimes even longer to recover that spark, to rekindle the flame that is your imagination, the drive to go out there and do something. And we're encouraged these days to push ourselves ever closer and closer and closer to that ledge. We are peering into the abyss of burnout while dancing on the precipice. And we're constantly told, keep the grind going, push every day. It's bullshit. Learning to recognize that unstructured time it's just as important as structured time in your life. It's crucial. You can't enjoy a hobby or nurture an interest on demand. You need that time to just breathe, to let yourself be happy doing nothing and picking up that stuff that captures your interest and in time and just enjoying it for the sake of enjoying it. That's super crucial. The same goes for family and relationships. You can't shoehorn those into a diary. You have to learn to enjoy that organic, impulsive moment. Embrace the spontaneity in life. The night out with the other half, the crazy road trip, last minute holiday to some city you've never been to, that fuck it, let's do it long weekend. Those moments are fleeting and life will pass you by if you don't grab them. I can't think of anything sadder than looking back at a life of, I should have done that, or I could have done that. And plenty of people embedded in grind culture are heading that way. And, folks won't care whether you pushed yourself through the tiredness to get your gym session in at 4 a.m. before rocking up at the studio for an 18-hour day at 6 a.m., surviving on coffee and Instagram validation alone. It's just not like that. Life's more fun with moderation. I mean, it's great to work with purpose, but in these days where whole industries exist to push you to work every minute, backed up by algorithms that only reward behaviors that keep people locked into cycles of posting, commenting and creating just for the sake of hitting a gamified goal, you've got to make the active choice to protect your spark. You've got to choose to disengage from the rat race, to open the windows and walk out the door Enjoy the fresh air, taking the sunlight, taking the sights and sounds of the world with your friends and family. Those real connections and those real experiences far outweigh, in terms of positive effect on your mental health, the daily grind and the heavily curated online world. It's just undeniable. So the notes that became the episode that this is, I wrote while I was on a break from my daily grind. Now, I took 5 days in a cave house deep in the countryside in Bordeaux. And one of the days was a rainy day, and this came out of my head, and I was just thinking about the fact that I'd taken time out for myself. And that's something I never used to do. I used to work myself literally to exhaustion, but I was loving it there. You know, I knew I'd had a crazy few weeks working on a project which I really enjoy, but that had just got insane. And I could feel that burnout was kind of lurking on the edges. So I thought, 5 days, long weekend in the countryside without my phone being on the grid. And it was great. I just lived. I spent time with great friends. I enjoyed amazing wine. We explored cities and villages we'd never been to before. We sat around a fire in a wooded countryside dell, laughing, telling stories late into the night. It was off the grid, no email. It was brilliant. And it was nice just to disconnect and enjoy the world for what it was. So, like Ferris said, stop, look around you once in a while, because you might find that you're losing your life to the grind. If you'd like to talk about your lived experience as a creative, drop me a DM. And if you're not already, subscribe today. Follow the links to our socials for more, and tell your creative friends about Make so you and they can join me in the next episode. Until next time, I'm Neil Evans, and this is Make.